Today I'm going to talk to you all about workflow. So workflow as a photographer is so important to stay organised, to stay on top of things, and also managing all your memory cards, your data, your files, and how you actually work, especially if you're working on the go. So I use a MacBook Pro for editing, and I use Lacy hard drives. So I actually have three and I use them for different things. So I have a smaller one for traveling. So if I'm traveling doing a destination wedding, I will use a portable one like this because I don't want to take my major hard drive, because if I was to lose that, I would be in a lot of trouble. So this is specifically for destination weddings and traveling on the go. And then I have for my memory cards, I keep all my memory cards in this. And then when I finish shooting a wedding or a photo shoot, I take out one of the memory cards from my camera, and what I do as a kind of workflow thing is I turn the memory card backwards, so that I know is the used memory card. So that's the one that's been read. And then I kind of keep that, and that is shockproof, water resistant, and I have my address on the front as well. So if I was to lose this, potentially someone in the world could send it back to me, because this is your lifeline as a photographer. So memory cards are one of those things as photographers are so important to kind of manage and keep safe, because they are the most precious things as a photographer. So I maintain all my memory cards with a craft box. So this is just from Hobbycraft, but you can buy this from Amazon. And this is how I manage all of my memory cards. So I separate them into shoots or weddings, and I label them according to the name of the couple or the photo shoot or the theme. And I put my memory cards in there. This is really a really good way to manage your cards, because when you're shooting multiple weddings, multiple photo shoots, this is a really good way to manage them, so you see exactly what's left. I do not format a card until I've actually finished editing it and it's JPEG and it's on a gallery and it's on a hard drive. And then once I've done all of that, then I can format the card. So then I have all my weddings, and then when it's formatted and kind of ready, I pop it in there, and that tells me those cards are free to use. So a game changer for editing and culling for me has got to be Photo Mechanic, and I discovered this maybe 2 years ago, and no exaggeration, it is life-changing. There is Adobe Raw, there's loads of things you can use. However, with Photo Mechanic, it will load raw files at kind of lightning speed, so you can see exactly what you're culling and kind of what you're proving. So all you need to do is plug in your memory card, and I just use a memory card reader from Amazon, but make sure you get a fast one so it loads a lot quicker. And then you open it up. Now there are lots of ways to use Photo Mechanic. This is how I use Photo Mechanic, and this is how you load them. So as you can see, these are all my raws, and they've loaded up straight away. So instead of backing up every single image to your Lightroom, you're kind of wasting loads of space of images that might be out of focus, you're not even going to use, and raw files are absolutely massive, so you don't need them. So for me personally, I will open them up and look for them all and just pick the ones I want, and it's as easy as that. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So what you're going to do is you're going to open up Photo Mechanic, and I've got my memory card here, so it's called Untitled. And I'm just going to open it up, and then you've got Photo Mechanic. And this is the way I use Photo Mechanic. There are so many ways to use it, but this is the way I use it. So you're going to find the source of your memory card, open it up. So this is where my images are. I'm going to open them up, and here are my images. So the great thing about Photo Mechanic is it will load all your images in raw format straight away. So you haven't got that buffering, you haven't got that loading. And you can make them larger over here. You've got the file names, or you can arrange them by capture time. And you can actually star them according to how many stars, you can color code them. But for me personally, it is a case of I would just pick a picture, it's yes or no when I'm culling it. So that way, when I am importing it into my hard drive, I am just importing the pictures I want to use. So I double click onto the image to maximize it, so I can see it as large as it can be. And all I'm doing is going through my keyboard with the next button, arrows, and then what I'm doing is pressing the letter T on the keyboard. And what that does is that will tick a little box below here, and that basically means tagged. So that is an image that you want to keep. So you can go through, and again, it kind of loads at full resolution. So for me, I pick that one, and you go through, and it just is so much quicker. So you can do it at this sort of pace. So for culling weddings, photo shoots, it is just so much quicker. And you're not importing loads of files that are out of focus that you're not going to use, which is ideal for memory and space on your hard drive and your computer. And I'm just going through and pressing T. You've also got all your settings here as well, so you can have a look at what your settings are. If you want to zoom in, you can zoom in as well, whatever you like. And I'm just going through and tagging as I go on. That's cute. I might even zoom in a bit more to about, yeah, to about there. So you can zoom out if you want it normal. That's so cute. So this is a shoot I did a few days ago for one of my clients, and it is their 1 year anniversary. And they did it in a diner, so we had exclusive use of this really cool diner. And this is just life-changing, and I don't exaggerate that. When I discovered Photo Mechanic, it was just such a game changer. And there are loads of ways that you can load it in Adobe Raw. There's loads of things you can do, but for me personally, always reminders, that's key, it's just the quickest and the most convenient for me. So when you finish culling, you can just come back out of this. And then as you can see, I took 736 pictures, but when you go to this option here, you want to go to tagged, it has culled 204 images. So these are all the images I press T, so these are all the images I'm going to keep. What you can do, some people do, is they cull again, but for me, I'm pretty happy with all of these ones. So these are ones I'm probably most likely going to edit all of these. And if I'm not happy with an image, I can just delete it. But I haven't got loads and loads of memory that I'm taking up of images I'm not going to use. So once you've done that, depending on where you want to export it to, so I have little mini hard drives. I create folders for every single shoot. So this would be Sam and Mick, Diner, Shoot. And then what I do with my folders, I'm really pedantic about organizing files, because when you are taking thousands and thousands of images, they are just everywhere. And I think it's so much better to have a folder for RAWs and then a folder for JPEGs as well once you have exported them in Lightroom. So once you've done that, you're going to click Select All. And all you're going to do is drag them to where you want them to go. So I want them to go in here. So I'm going to drag them in there, and that's it. And it will just start copying the RAWs I've just selected into the hard drive. There are other ways of doing this. You can actually ingest them, and you can open these up in Lightroom. There are loads of ways of doing that. So you can actually export these into Lightroom. However, for me, for backing up, I back them up onto a hard drive. And that's just for security reasons. So if my computer was to crash, or was to lose the images, if the Lightroom catalog was to go corrupt, if I have them on my hard drive, I have the original RAW files should I lose the progress I've made on edits, and that way they're there if I need to go back into the RAWs. And then what I would do is I would actually export, and I would then import these RAWs into Lightroom. Once you have finished importing your images to your chosen place, so I've chosen my hard drive, she's called Stacy, you're going to open up Lightroom. So another tip as well for workflow is I create catalogs for every single photo shoot, every single wedding, and this just organizes your images and your files into separate files. Typically, people who don't know about catalogs don't understand how catalogs work, but the benefit of creating a new catalog for each shoot is if that catalog was to go corrupt, it's just that one catalog compared to one major catalog, which is all your images and you can lose them all, you can lose all your work, you can lose your progress, and it's a really good way to kind of organize your workflow. So these are some recent shoots I've done, and they're all separated. So click create new catalog. I'm going to name this. You can save this anywhere you like, really. You can save it onto your actual computer, your hard drive. I'm going to save it onto my hard drive because this is a smaller sheet. If it was a wedding, I always save it to my computer. And again, I'm going to save it in the folder I made earlier, and I'm going to name it Sam Dinah Shoot. And this will be the name for the actual catalog. You're going to create it, and then it's going to open up a brand new catalog. So when you open up a new catalog, there are no images. So what you want to do is you want to import the raws you have just culled in Photo Mechanics. So import photos and video, and depending on where you have saved them. So naturally it's going to default because our memory card's still plugged in, but I want to specifically get the raws from the ones I have culled. So I'm going to go into the folder. Because my raws are there, you're going to choose, and again, these are the images I've culled earlier, so 204 pictures. So what you can do is you can build smart previews. In case you know what build smart previews are, these are previews that you don't need your hard drive plugged in, so you can edit remotely without having your hard drive plugged in, or you don't have to. For me, I won't build smart previews on this occasion because it's a smaller shoot. And then you can apply your presets. So that way, when they import, you've got your base preset already. So I am going to put original glazed on the images, import, and then it's going to import the images. And it should have, when you go to develop, so it's importing it as it is, it will import with the preset already on it. So naturally, I'm going to have to go in and tweak this. So this is my preset, it's already been put on it. I'm going to go in, adjust the lighting to about there, maybe enhance it a bit, and that noise basically means it's been imported. If it's a little bit too yellow, bring that temperature down, I can sharpen it up, make that luminance, and that's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So that is how I manage my workflow. So once I've finished editing that, I can also synchronize the next couple of pictures if I want the exact same settings, like so. And this preset is my RC presets. So these are my Instagram story ones. These presets are available to buy on my shop. So you can have this exact same look with your pictures. And then once you have, you can create a folder. So I might just do Sam. And then you kind of drag in the pictures you want. So once you have finished editing the whole thing, you would just go into here and then click export. So imagine you have a whole folder. Again, choose the location of where you want to export. Again, I am going to go into Sam. I'm going to choose, and then I create a JPEG folder. So JPEG, and I rename it, the file name Sam Dinah Shoot, 100, 300 pixels per inch, copyright as well, and then that's how I export, and that is my workflow. So that is how I edit, and that is how I export, and it's going to export here. Naturally, if you've got hundreds and hundreds of images, you just select all and drag it into the folder, and that is it.